The coating durability test puts XS through a cycle of 10,000 strums. Through the lens of a microscope, it is clear that XS retains its composition better than other coated strings. Testing complete.
Yes. Hey everyone, this is Chris Kies from your guitar. Today I'm joined by Chris Bishop of Crobot.
Hello,
Chris,
what's
how are you
up,
doing?
man? Good, very good.
As we discussed off camera, the best name in the book, Chris.
Yes, dude, the best and probably most used, maybe right under Muhammad.
Yes. Yes, very true.
I don't know.
It is. Yeah. It is. Based on where you grew up in the world. Yes,
Yeah,
very much so. And you said off camera, I want to call you out for this. You also said it's very close to being the Karen of male names.
Yes, I'm sort of like that. It's like, I'm glad that I came up with that.
I never asked for the manager, though.
Give it time. Give it time.
I'll age into that. Well, Chris, we are here not to talk about our names, calling the managers. We're here to talk gear, and you have plenty of it, sir.
Yeah,
So talk
man.
To me about what you're using over your shoulder here.
So most of this is new. We had our trailer stolen,
Damn.
unfortunately. So the first thing that I got was the Victory Super Sheriff.
Okay.
I always wanted to get like a 800 or Friedman style, like hot rodded 800 or something. And Alex who used to be at Orange, Alex Hobbs here, he works with Victory now, and he's like, try this out. He sent it to me. Originally sent me like the 25 watt one. It was just I didn't have as much headroom because I only used one channel. This cleans up really, really nice, man. So I got this one, and came out great. I think I used like the second channel, the first gain stage on the second channel.
Okay.
So that's like the souped up one.
And that's where you live. And then everything else kind of colors and changes.
For sure. Like it's all amp distortion. There's no fuzz. Or distortion. Pedals. It's all from the amp. And it's this.
Let's talk about this bad machine.
So this is a Berly. This guy, he makes these Fender style guitars in Austin. This one has the Lawler P-90s, which are really, really awesome. Right now, I think it's like my favorite P-90 that I've got. It's noisy, but it's not too much. It's not like riding a bull. Yeah. You can hear it now. It's noisy, but for the most part, I'm pretty loud. So, I love this guitar. I had a buzz stop put on it just to help with a lot of the string noise, just because this is such a big space with nothing on it.
Yeah.
And
what do you use for strings?
This
and
is
tunings?
DR 10 through 48. It's I've pretty much played those for a long time. And the neck on this thing is it's bigger than I've ever played, and it's one of those things now that I'm used to it, I love it.
Really?
Yeah, because all my other Teles are super thin, I think C shaped or whatever, but they're really, really thin.
Yeah. What have you grown to love about your companionship with the new neck?
He really sands them down. You can tell he's really sanded it to more of a V. It's I don't know. It is just a little bit bigger. I think just that really soft feel on the back, because he relics the guitars for just to make them sit and feel good when you play them, and you can really tell a difference, man. The Mastery bridge on this is phenomenal. I have such a problem with rusting out everything that I play.
Yeah, from sweat.
Yeah,
sweat
dude.
beer.
Yeah, and it's a lot of times it's we're the opening band and there's not a lot of time, so it just goes right in its case without a proper wipe down.
Yeah.
And it lives to fight another day, man.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Now, I know from previous interviews I've read and seen, even with Premier Guitar, you've had a lot of mods and wire modifications done to your guitars. Is that still something you do, and is this what's going on here?
Not on this one. And Well, one of my other guitars still has it. A lot of them have taken it out, and mainly because of the amount of sweat. I've had a lot of issues with it.
Can you quickly explain to the audience what you did?
So what I would do is I would, instead of putting a kill switch in it, I would reverse that so it would create a ground hum instead of it being a complete kill.
Okay. And
what that would do is, like, anytime I would press that switch, it would react with that sound of the wah, because it would basically create this weird noise, and that would control it. And it was never the same. It always depended on how loud you are and how much noise is going on. But I just noticed when I was touring heavy, I would sweat into it, and it would create that connection. Sometimes it would just start doing that mid-show, and I couldn't turn it off. I was like, so yeah, I took it out of most of my main guitars. I still have it in one, and it's really only detriment. I can create those sounds other ways.
I was going to ask, is there another path to the?
Yeah, I mean, with a lot of feedback. I mean, right now there's the weirdest sounds that I'm messing with now. I've put this harmonist on an expression pedal so that I can do like the dive bombing, like that sort of stuff. I can still don't have to have a Floyd and be dive bombing, you know.
Yeah.
Because this thing, I don't even mess with that. Yeah. But that, and then I've got this triple graph. In the middle of it, it's got the
new Jack White pedal.
Yeah, you can have it like a kill switch, or you can have it in a loop. And I have my Paul Gilbert airplane flanger always set to take off.
Bozo the Clown.
Yeah. It's really cool to like.
So clearly you like interactive pedals, like stuff that you can manipulate on the fly.
Yeah, and it has to be the pedals. Like I've really tried to dumb it down to use like a Kemper remote or a switcher, but being able to control each individual pedal is extremely important. Like this echo shifter, you have to be very careful with it because I've broken so many of those knobs.
Oh, I bet.
You know what I mean? But like this. So, having that in front of that really helps for like builds in between songs or in parts. And I mean, so those are my main ones. Basically the triple graph, the airplane flanger, the Vox Time Machine, and the Ibanez Echo Shifter.
Now the Vox Time Machine, the way you manipulated that dial, is that like a spring, or did you put something in there? The way it looks like it's kind of like almost comes back to set.
So with that one is just a stock pedal, and I've had them modded before to where I've put this knob on a fader.
Oh.
But every time I've done that, it's changed the reaction that I have of
the way you
delay.
just did it.
Yeah. So basically, all I do is as soon as you hit it, it's going to take off. So you have to or it'll build slow like that, but. So yeah, I mean, it's like it's a pretty cool. I get asked so much about that because it's such a unique sound, and honestly, I've never found another pedal that can do that responsive in real time.
Your like tone is like 3 O's: oscillation, octave, and out there.
Yeah, that's good.
That's like
man.
what I think of when I hear your guitar playing.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, dude. But what else is on your board? And then maybe real quickly we'll talk about these two ponies behind me.
So it's Victory distortion, and for every single note riff that I do, I've got like a subtle sub octave on it. And then like for the really heavy riffs, I'll stack the Tentacle, which I've done for years.
And that's another octave, right? Octave
it's
up.
Analog high octave up, yeah. Okay. So it creates almost like a bit crush. Like, you just have to be careful not to play too many notes and like tighten up when you do play it. But it does, make a really awesome. I mean, even by itself, sometimes like in like low life, the lead stuff will be just the tenor. But yeah, I mean, I've just been a fan of like the Band of Gypsies, Hendrix sound for, and that's basically that pedal. And then always some form of a spring-loaded Morley. I have left a wah on way too many times in my life.
You're that guy.
Well, now it's this thing. I got to get some rubber bands on it because I start this like the set and it'll be,
It sounds like you're playing with a flat tire.
Dude, I had Eddie over here like screaming at me, like checking his tune. He's like, "Are you out of tune? What's going on?" It was just that down. So.
Yeah, you hear the cocked wah. I don't know if you've ever heard of the cocked harmonist tone. Like the Mick Ronson cocked wah sound.
Yeah.
Or anyone that uses that. But I've never heard the cocked harmonist wah.
Yeah,
maybe that could be your thing.
Oh my God.
How are you using the ricochet?
That is like basically it's like a condensed whammy for me. Just like a traditional Tom Morello-y sound. Yeah. That's a go-to. It's just a smaller footprint on an already huge board that I have.
Yeah.
And then I've got my wireless.
Okay.
The Shure DLXP, whatever that is.
I think you actually nailed it. DLXP. I think.
16 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. I don't really have any issues with it. I mean, a couple times in festivals I've had dropouts, but nothing too major.
Yeah.
And it's pretty convenient to be able to have that as a tuner as well right there on the board.
I don't think you're the only one that's ever had dropouts at festivals.
Yeah,
I think the kids do that
happens.
thing. Yeah. What about Old Blood?
Oh, that's so anytime I'm playing something clean, I just pull it back and just throw that on. Yeah, it's just like it's a pretty wacky reverb. It's got all kinds of crazy cool shit on it, but I just use it really simply just for that.
Yeah.
And it was a gift for Christmas from my best friend Alberto. So I haven't really had a chance to mess with it too much.
Well, that's a good friend.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of friends, let's meet these two friends real quick. Who do we got here? Grab those.
This is the one that I can
hold for you if you want.
Yeah, I've had for a while. You can see that's where I had the noise switch in there.
Oh, okay.
Took it out just because it was, it was getting pretty wacky. But this bridge is almost rusted through. It's almost time for a new one. This pickup is a phenomenal. It was just like $100 Seymour Duncan.
Okay.
And honestly, it was my favorite pickup until I started playing this one with the Railhammer P-90. And I mean,
do you use this on stage, or is this a backup?
No, that's usually my main one.
Okay.
For this tour, it was supposed to be my golden guitar for our new song. That's in standard double drop D, going to California tuning.
Yeah.
So they call it, But so I instead of trying to tune every night, I would just switch guitars.
Got it.
But now we're playing that song half step down, so I can just drop it down live. It's not that big of a deal.
And are you guys playing anything in drop C? I know that you guys
or
C sharp.
When I do, we have one song called Without Wings, and when I do play that song, I just tune the top string down to a C.
Okay.
And I'm really light on it because it gets really floppy.
Yeah.
Especially with the 48. But and then I just play a thing in a half step.
Well, what about this last one here? I want to give equal love.
This one is a guitar that I've had for a long time, and I've had it overseas. And when the trailer got jacked, I wanted to use it. And so I had Sam, a good friend of ours, send it over. I just put a mastery bridge on it because everything was like super rusted, been sitting in storage for a long time. And this still has the switch on it.
Okay.
Which I actually rerouted it to just be a kill switch because it was just having a lot of like noise issues. But this is a bare knuckle P-90, which is really cool. And honestly, I mean, it sits low, but it's not as powerful or as wild sounding or hot as these other ones. And yeah, I mean, other than that, that's pretty much it. I love the bridge. Doesn't rip up my hands like the other vintage Tele bridges.
Turn your hand into a hamburger.
Yeah, dude. And yeah, sanded down the back of the neck, because once I started playing with this and realizing how much I hate finish on the back, I'm just doing that to all my guitars now.
All right, Chris, we breezed through the guitars, your pedal board, and your amp, but I see a green device over there on your left shoulder. What's going there so people aren't speculating?
What I'm doing is we have 2 Kempers, and one Kemper is for the bass rig, and it's ran to a cab. That's the powered Kemper. Okay. And then the stage, I think that's what it's called, right? The Kemper stage.
Yeah.
So that's actually my bass players, but that's what I'm using, and I use that for a front of house signal. So basically, there's 2 mics on my cab, which is the Victory.
Okay.
And then he gets a direct signal from the Kemper and creates a stereo sound.
Okay.
So whatever he does to it, I think he may delay it a little bit and just set it just for a tonal difference, you know. That way I only have to worry about my one rig on stage. Yeah, I mean, Kempers are great, you know.
Yeah.
I will say there's nothing like having a real amp really loud right behind you.
Yeah, I can speak to that.
Yeah, especially in smaller clubs, you know. I noticed because a lot of bands just won't have cabs at all, and man, it feels like such a letdown for all the people in the front row, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's sort of how we do it. So it's a sort of a stereo rig, but like I'm not running any stereo effects.
Yeah.
It's basically just to have 2 different sounds coming out, and he can spread them apart and like make them sound like 2 different guitar players, sort of.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. While
2 Chris's.
Basically, what it is I have the Victory Super Sheriff, which is that sort of British sound, and then every night I'm sort of messing around with different tones to try something completely different from that. Yeah. Whether it's like a really fuzzy sort of orange tone, or like you know, an AC30, or just, you know, Bassman or something. I've got some of my amps that I've modeled on there, like my 74 Bassman 410. That sounds really cool, and it's so different from the Victory.
So thinking about it more as not doubling, but more as complementing the sound, rather than, because sometimes you just put more and more, it's like 2 different sounds, but the same.
Right, and like I used to do it to where I would have 2 amps, and I would have a 20 millisecond delay to set them apart from each other. And it's cool sometimes. Sometimes it just came off like straight up chorus sound. Yeah. You know, just sound like Bryan Adams up here playing, you know, which is cool. But, you know.
That's not Crobot.
No, I think the way he's doing it is, you know, honestly, he might not even be using much of it. But for our ears as well, the way I have my ears is I have one left of the Victory, right of the other microphone of the Victory, and then right down the middle I have the Kemper really low, so it just sounds huge in my ears.
Awesome. Well, Chris, I know that your bandmates are ready to rip on stage for a sound check.
They're gonna kill me if I don't hurry.
They're gonna kill me too, because I'm, you know, the least cool Chris. So I appreciate your time.
Yeah, man.
Talk to us about the gear.
Thank you very much.
Not only is this guy a phenomenal guitar player, but check out his tattoo work on Instagram.
Thanks,
tattoos
man.
out of Austin, so check him out. Chris Bishop, Chris Kies, Premier Guitar. See you guys next time.
Thanks, guys.